make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
So I have a new camera, so you'll hopefully look thinner than the last time.
Good, I love that.
You were mad about that.
Is there filters on that thing?
It filters, it'll go through and it'll pick the best one, and then it'll just change it. It's all automatic, I promise. Thanks for inviting me to your home.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You still feel like Barbara Walters?
I do still feel like Barbara Walters.
You look like Barbara Walters.
You just told me I look like I was 18, and now I look like Barbara Walters, who's 107.
Well, when she was 18.
What? Yes, good. I need bigger hair.
Okay, listen, before you go any further, I've got to say I'm really excited about doing this because, you know, as an actor, it's nice to get awards and things like that, you know, at least when I lived in LA, it's a big deal. You know, I don't know about any other place, but it is. But I have a new award, and I want to show it to you. Here's my new award.
Oh.
You see, I now have the Richard Wilmore Cup.
Yep.
And you know, when you're on talk shows in LA, they always give you a cup of the talk show you're on. So I feel like I have just won a Tony or an Emmy or an Oscar because I now have my own cup. So to all those actors out there that have not had the pleasure and the honor of being on this show, sorry. It's mine. It's all mine. And it will sit here with my other awards.
The next time I come over, it better be right there.
It will be. It will be, because yellow is a counteraction to amethyst, which is in my home.
I mean...
And matches see my gladiolus.
See, every other mug is a different color, but yours I chose
Of course.
yellow.
Of course. Listen, it's really good being back here with you again.
You're like... I feel like you're the most... the guest who's been on the most times.
Yes, maybe so. I hope so. I hope it continues to be that way.
We went to the overtime, and then you were on the game show that I did, and
yes.
now you're back.
That's right.
You were supposed to be on another variety show that I did, but you had rehearsals.
That's right. That's right.
We're like Sonny and Cher.
Yes. Probably. I don't even want to go there.
Anyway.
I'm short, so...
You have a show that's closing this weekend at the Overtime Theater.
Yes.
An evening with Edgar Allan Poe.
An evening with Edgar Allan Poe.
What has that been like so far, the run of this show?
Well,
standing ovations, sold out crowds.
Yeah, we've had sold out crowds, standing ovations every night. I just... You think it would make you feel like, you know, bigger. It's so incredibly humbling when people... And it's not like they feel like they have to stand. I mean, these people just, they hit it, you know. And you come out and you think, wow, this is something special. I do have to say, you know, I've done thousands of shows in my lifetime, and as an actor, you always want to choose something that's different, and there are limited roles for me to a certain degree. I mean, I'm not going to play a sumo wrestler, obviously, you know.
You have costumes?
Well, if I keep gaining the weight, maybe, you know.
You keep being on my show, and
that's
you keep getting mad about it.
That's right. But choosing this particular character, this has been truly the most difficult show I have ever done. Now, to my mistake, I normally join a gym about 6 months to a year before I do a show to prepare my body. Well, this one was not a real physical type of show, I thought. And I thought, well, you know, I'm going to deal with this on an emotional level. Wrong mistake. To all actors, they should all prepare your bodies at least 6 months before you do something this intense. You know, Edgar Allan Poe was bipolar. He suffered from alcoholism, abandonment issues. And throughout the years, well, let me back up. When people found out I was doing this, I must have received 150 memes of caricatures, humorous, you know, pictures of ravens, you know, caricatures of sketches with him, you know, being real weird looking. But the play is not about that. it's about him as a human being. I had never played a character before that had actually lived in my life. So I took it very seriously. I researched for a year. I made sure that everything that's in the play had 10 strong references. If it had 6 or 7, I didn't go with it. Because there's so many things that have been written about Poe that are untrue. He never was a drug addict. He was a severe alcoholic. And it's a wonder he didn't die before 40. I mean, it really isn't just alcohol poisoning. And eventually that's what he did die from. However, so many bad things have been written about him because he was not well liked. He had an IQ that was like 200. He had a different way of approaching things. In the Victorian era, when people wrote things, it was almost controlling another person's thought. You were not even allowed to think beyond that. So I used, it was another interview I'd done, I talked about this like a chair in the room. And that's what the Victorian people would write about. But he didn't. He'd write about the shadows around the chair. So to make you wonder, well, what were the shadows about? He wanted the mind to move beyond that which was actually on the page and to imagine and to see beyond that. He created visuality before it was popular to do so. That was considered vulgar. That was considered risque. He would go into the salons, living rooms of people, and he would read his plays. And it was pretty shocking. You know, it was a very shocking thing to hear things that were macabre about heads being removed or dismemberment of bodies. So he was a very complicated character, and I wanted to show him as a human being that was broken. It's all set in purgatory. I break the fourth wall in this play, so the audience becomes my co-stars. They are the haunting. So it starts off with a Raven poem that's pre-recorded. My producer, Brian Henderson, wrote all of the music. The music is phenomenal. I wrote the theme song to the actual play. That's something I do with all of my work. I love to write the lyrics, and he'll send me music, and I'll send him a melody. And so in the beginning you hear me singing, you know, like a tale song, and then it goes into the pre-recorded top verse of the Raven, and he's writing it as he's thinking, and that's how it begins, and you hear this clank, clank, clank. The play is set in a dream state, so the audience doesn't know whether they're dreaming about Poe or Poe's dreaming about them, but they are the haunting. They are the people. When you go to a therapist and pay $400 an hour, and they sit there and they never say a word. So it's kind of like he tells his story, and you don't know how many times he's had to tell that story. It's a never-ending, constant reenactment of his life until he gets a little bit further along, confesses a little bit more. Then he becomes comfortable enough to leave purgatory, because purgatory is neither heaven nor hell. It is merely a place of waiting. There's a line, let's see if I can remember it. Perhaps those that remain in this place are not to be judged by God, but rather that is a reckoning we place upon ourselves. So the people in purgatory, it's up to them to work through until they're ready to release all of their transgressions so that they can move on. So it's not a punishment place. It's just a place to sit, rest, review until you move on. So that's where the whole play takes place from. Now, unfortunately, I didn't study Poe in high school like everybody else did. And so I got to know Poe as a person. And as a writer, I related to him. And the best way I can describe how I met this guy is like you're at a party. And some guy walks up to you and you begin talking. And you find out he's a writer. And you go, oh, well, I'm a writer too. What have you written? Here, this is what I've written. And then you discover it's not normal, it's brilliant. And then you become friends with this person. Unfortunately, you find out that the person's bipolar. He's got alcohol issues. He's got abandonment issues. And you like the guy, but he's really messed up. And you have to love him for his brilliance. But he's very egotistical. He's very narcissistic. And the reason he's that way is because no one told him as a little boy, you're talented, Edgar. You're good. That's a beautiful purple cow you just drove. drawn. You drove?
You drove it.
You drove it. Yeah, you drew. So he never had that support. And so he became boastful for his own protection. There's another line in the play. I wore my bravado as a suit of armor so that others would not see my weaknesses. I continually tried to prove my manhood in the arms of every whore I bedded so as to forget about the abandonment I felt as a child. So throughout the entire play, even though you see him as an adult, he's always referencing him being a child, because most of our demeanor, our personality, and everything we become happens between we're born and age 5. So any trauma that happens as a childhood, usually we carry it through the rest of our lives, unless you're able to pay $400 an hour and work through it. So it's a very sad thing, because you see the child in him. Unfortunately, for me as an actor, he goes from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in a split second. And even I, as the actor who's portraying the character, I don't know when he's going to go off in the play. So it's not like there's one section that he doesn't. He may do it 6 times or 4 times or 3 times. It's whatever happens in the movement of that play. But I will say, as an actor, this has got to be the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. And physically, when I finish with it, I have to wait an hour after the show is ended, and I sit in a car, literally, and I just bawl like a little kid. Not sad. I mean, I'm happy. The houses are good. The people are happy. They love the show. It's become a hit, and that's rare. You don't always just write a hit. You could write 15 shows, you may get 1 hit out of it. And I'm very fortunate. But the emotional drain on my body, I come home and I literally collapse. I don't even eat. And you can't eat before a show, not in this type of show. But it's frightening to me. And this is a human being we're dealing with. And yeah, it's been over 100 years, but still, I wanted to give him the dignity. And it is from his perspective. And it deals with his father's relationship and his relationship. And I'm sure he did a lot of things that would make a parent mad. However, that being said, I still had to view it from his point of view. I discovered as a writer all the chances I take that I'm given permission to do as a writer. It's because of him. And it's sad that I thought about to myself, would he be happy about, he's become a caricature. He went from a man to a myth to a legend to a cartoon almost. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that would upset him. But in his death, and he had it bad even after he died. He had a tombstone that was being delivered. This is how his luck went. And the train crashed. So he didn't get a tombstone for many, many years. His wife, the young cousin that he married, his adversaries took her bones and they put them in a box and stuck it under a bed and charged people to come in and to look at the bones. I mean, the desecration of it all. So everything that happened to him was so tragic, but in a bizarre way. It was kind of like if Marilyn Monroe lived to be 90, she wouldn't be really as famous as she is. Mm-hmm. The mystery and the tales became larger than life is one of the lines of the play. You know, a tragic hero of the written word, whose greatest fear was that of himself. You know, they created these macabre stories, and they just built and built and built till it became an image that was larger than life. But that's what brought him to this interview today.
What made you decide to write this?
I literally woke up one morning, and as cornball as it may sound, and people won't believe it, I was told to write it. I don't ever really sit down and plan to write stuff. I kind of let the universe
Life happened.
You know,
yeah.
to tell me. Plus, you know, I also have to kind of fit somewhat the character. It takes me about 2 hours to get into makeup. I love the idea of transforming into something. The one thing I don't like is when it's compared to another show. When you do more than one-man shows, you know, we all know that my portrayal of Dorian Gray was a massive, massive hit, which was a big surprise to me. and the transformation on that was painful. I shot electricity into my face 3 times a day, and one of the big things in regards to that show was, Poe's not a pretty man, but Dorian Gray was, and one of my best friends said, "Oh, this is a great play, but you have to be pretty to play the role." And thus,
challenge accepted.
Yes, but to me as an actor, because I was never considered good-looking growing up, I was always too short. My brother was the good-looking one, I was the smart one. So I had a complex. So I took on Dorian Gray, that particular show, mainly because I wasn't good-looking. And I thought, I must be a good enough actor to fool people. And that was my goal, because when I get mad about something, and someone says you can't do it, it does something to me. And so I'm the kid that the parent says, "You hit that piano key one more time." And I go like this.
You're like a cat who just
right.
Yeah.
So I was determined to try to prove that I could do it and I could fool other people. I'm probably one of the most insecure people you'll ever meet when it comes to my visual appearance. And so for me, that was a coup in my life. But with Poe, I don't have to be pretty, so that's not the challenge. But the challenge is trying to get that macabreness about it. I mean, he's in purgatory. So, but I don't want people to compare that show with this show, because they're totally different entities, totally different people. One's alive, one's a character. And it was much easier to do Dorian Gray than it is this. This is, you're dealing with another human being's life, and you have to give him that respect. And it's hard to find his voice. It's hard to play an ill person. And I like playing characters that are ill, though. I have personally a happy life. My life is happy. So I like to find complex characters that have onion layers to them. I chose a doozy on this one, and it's taken its toll on me. I have to tell you that.
And I think your dedication to it is really coming through, and your love for it, because audiences are loving it. We're going to take a break, because our first 20 minutes is up already.
Already?
And you're like the perfect guest, because I just sit here and I listen.
Yeah, well, I never shut up.
I don't
That's
even have to
why.
ask questions. It's fun. So we're going to be right back with Derek right after this. Don't go anywhere. Stacy Andon Coaching. The world needs your flavor of magic. Visit her at stacyandon.com.
Shut up.
That's good. We're back with Derek, who has promised to let me ask. I'll probably ask one question and then it will go off again.
Probably.
For another 20 minutes. It's great. I'm not mad about it at all.
Would you believe as a kid I never talked?
Really?
As a child, I never spoke.
Why?
I don't know. My father used to tell me, at the dinner table, "Derek, would you please have an inner body experience at the table?" I had a terribly educated father, was a great theologian, and so there was always these intellectual conversations with, it was not uncommon at my home to have a Wiccan priest, a rabbi priest, a Catholic priest, and a voodoo doctor sitting at a table discussing theology. And I was fascinated by that because I just would listen. And I think it really helped me as an actor too, eventually, because I'm so open and diverse to other people's belief systems. That's why I don't understand prejudice or hatred or hating others' religion or color or whatever. Because my family was always so open about diversity in life, which you have to be as an actor. Mm-hmm. You really, really do. So I encourage any other actors to take sociology, take psychology. Be open, because you never know who you're going to play. So, but I never talked. And now it's like, now that the cap is off, but yet in my personal life I don't talk. Only when I'm in front of people.
That's how I am. If I do a show, as soon as the show's over, get me home, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing it, it's great. Or while I'm out.
But this is what people expect anyway as an actor. They expect you to be gregarious and upfront, and then when people are in my private life, they go, "Are you all right?
Are you okay?" Yeah.
They say, "Are you
What's wrong?"
No, this is
my normal face.
Normal. This house has some chimes that ring. We play low music, and it's quiet all the time, except when I'm rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for many years with disabled children, which were probably the most brilliant creatures I've ever worked with. And when God doesn't allow you to have a certain ability, he gives you other abilities that are kind of off the chart. I didn't know that I was a writer until about 8 years ago, because I'm so severely dyslexic. And if anybody's on my Facebook and they see I type in caps, most people know, because I let them know I type in caps so I can actually see, because everything's in Arabic.
I just thought you were yelling at me all the time.
No, well, I like to yell at you, period. Now, you're a different
All I did was
story.
ask if you wanted to hang out.
Right, yeah, and I'll yell, yeah, that's it. But when you write, I have the ability to write. I do not know where it comes from. I sit down and I look back at what I write and I go, did I write that? So it's just as surprising to me as it is to other people. So I don't know where it comes from, but I do know one thing, that anything that I have that people consider a talent or a gift, look, I didn't deserve it. It's not I'm better than anybody else. You know, I believe it was given to me. I try to take care of it. I try not to ever use it to hurt anybody.
What was your first award that you won?
Actually, well, I did some touring and I was presented with some awards, but locally here, it was when I did Nosferatu, which I love the character. And so in the 1920s version, if you ever see it, it's black and white, and it's horrifying. It really is. It will scare the daylights out of you. So I played him actually good looking, because he wanted to fool the woman he was seducing. However, what I did was I had these metal ornate finger caps. So I wore those, and of course the person that I'm acting with ignores them. But it tells the audience that he's evil and he's, you know, has this demonic thing. So that was a lot of fun, and that was an operetta musical. And the reason I don't do a lot of musicals, and people are very shocked at this, because I started off as a singer, and that's what I did. But for me, I wanted to be considered a serious actor. And this is so no discredit to anybody that's in the music theater, because it's extremely difficult what people do in musical theater. Please do not take it lightly. But the general public says, oh, he's just a musical singer. Mm-hmm. And so that was said to me a couple of times, and it kind of upset me, because I'm a trained actor. I studied Greek and Shakespearean acting and Roman acting, and you know, I went to Segway Studios in Los Angeles. I mean, I'm a method actor, and they didn't teach anything but method when I was training, which is the worst type of training you can go through, because it screws with your head and your life. And I'm an old dog, but you know, I can't go back and relearn, and it does affect your life on an emotional level. But getting past that, so when I did this, and someone made the comment, oh well, yeah, it's a musical thing. It kind of got me. I said, I need to prove myself as a serious actor. So I would try to find roles that were extremely difficult to do. I always jump in a pond that's 20,000 feet deep with no life jacket, and just pray to God that I can do it. I almost challenge myself. So, but I'm very proud of that award, because it was an actual opera type of musical, very much like Phantom. And I did not expect to win that award. And when I did win that award, that was one of the first ATACs I ever won. And I'm a big supporter of ATAC. I'm a big supporter. And you know, you don't always have to win. You know, I mean, you don't always have to win an award. But I still go and I support it. And I'm very proud of my fellow actors that do win. Living in LA, you know, winning an award helps you get another job. Mm-hmm. It's not that it makes you a better actor. It just gives you more opportunity and different places. I mean, this is our Tony Awards. Mm-hmm. You know, this is. Yep. You have to realize that Tonys are not a national thing. Mm-hmm. It's strictly for New York, mm-hmm. strictly for Broadway. Mm-hmm. So every section of the United States has their own award system. It's just that's a very popular one called the Tonys. But when I received this, I did not expect it. I knew that the show was nominated, but they don't tell you what nominations could be: lighting, directing, whatever. And when they called out my name, And of course, I always wanted to win an ATAC. If you don't have one, you want one.
Right.
And I don't remember anything after that. Now, I must say, my parents have reared me. In any social situation, I'm pretty good at what to do. Pretty much. After winning that, and people would come up to me, they were congratulating me, I had this fake smile on my face, and all I kept saying was, thank you, thank you. I was oblivious to everything. I don't remember walking on the stage. I don't remember getting the award. I was in shock. And I remember walking down, there's a hallway, you have to walk down to the lobby where they take your picture and everything. And it was like a horror movie to me because the hallway kept getting longer and longer. And I got halfway down, and the lady, the stage manager, had me by my hand and she said, "Are you all right?" And I said, and I guess I gazed at her with like a dumb, but all of my friends said, "You were just not there." It was shocking to me, and it's always the favorite award because it's your first, and when you don't think you're going to get it, and you always hope you'll get one, but this was, I wouldn't even, they announced my name, and I just sat there, and they kept, you got to get up and go.
When's he going up there? Oh, that's me.
I don't remember anything about that at all, except people coming around me and congratulating me, and I was being polite, but I just kept saying the same thing over again. They'd ask me questions, well, what's your next project? Thank you very much. And I had this stupid smile on my face. And I always tease, one of my friends won some multiple awards a year and a half ago, or 2 years back. And I was so excited for her because I had swept the awards with Dorian Gray, which is a very big rarity. I mean, it'll never probably happen again in my career, the ATACs. The stars were right in heaven and God was lined up perfectly. So she won several at one time. And there's nothing more wonderful than seeing a fellow actor, especially those that you care about and love, to have that experience, because she was oblivious, just like I was. She was in complete shock. She didn't know where to go, what to do. And I remember sitting back, you'd have thought I had won the awards myself. I was so happy for her. Just to have that moment in time with another actor who wins, who's worked hard. I'm not the only actor that works hard in this city. We have some superb actors here in this city that I respect highly. Shout out to John Stillwagon, is brilliant actor, and we are going to be working together pretty soon.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Which means you'll probably be on my show again.
We'll both be on your show.
Yes.
Now he's better looking than me, so you add more filter
He's
on
been
me.
on my show as well already.
Oh, he has.
He was doing a show at the Vex. What was it? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, I interviewed him. I went to the Vex Theater.
He is
was on there.
a brilliant actor, and no ego. Mm-hmm. He is the epitome of what I would want to be as an actor, and he's different in mine, and he wins quite a bit too, and so I'm very pleased. But when you see another actor win something that that they've worked hard for, that's a good feeling.
You're almost just as proud. You're like,
of course, yes,
Mm-hmm.
because we're a community and we need to support one another. And listen, I'm suffering through doing this show right now. I mean, this is, as I said, doing Poe is hard. It's hard on me. It's hard on my body. And I can't even begin to tell you what I'm going through doing this production. It's a good thing I only choose a show to do a year, because it's going to take me 6 months to get past this one. I can tell you that now. But when you see another actor and that they've worked as hard as you have and they're committed to something and then they're rewarded for it, it just, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to point out something else about doing a one-man show. There's no such thing as a one-man show. Rose Kennedy did my costume. Brilliant, and oh so wonderful to work with. Nicole Irwin did my publicity. Chuck Drew gave me the most intense, beautiful lighting. Oh my God, Nikki Tovar is my stage manager, also handling my board work. There's so many people that help you create the image. Mm-hmm. It's sure I'd like to claim it's all me. I love that, but
I mean, it was just you.
And people say, but you're producing this, you're directing this. Yeah, but and then I brought in an assistant director, because you can't always see yourself, and that's Whitney Morlett, who I did the Garden Poem with. Oh, and boy, her help was wonderful. Having that second pair of eyes. So I'm very fortunate that, and she's a multiple award-winning actress herself. So I'm very fortunate that I have these people around me. The lady that helped cut my hair into this. This took a long time to get into this position. So there's so many people that help you create the role. It's not just you.
You show up and do it. Yeah.
But you're up there alone. I have to tell you that.
And you can feel it, yes.
There's no one there to save you if you drop a line or
Yeah.
you know. So that's the difficult thing. It's just, he's a traumatic person. He had a traumatic life, and there's another line in the play. It says, "Yes, I lived a masochistic life." Sometimes I think as an actor, I do that to myself. It's a masochism because I choose things that are so beyond what I probably can do. It's kind of like buying your first house. If you're stupid and you don't know it's a difficult thing, when I bought my first home, I didn't know it was something hard and people have nervous breakdowns over, and I just did it. Mm-hmm. But I try to choose things that are beyond me, so I push myself, and I get, you know, my friends are, sometimes they think I'm a little far out there because you're gonna do that. But as an actor, you just can't rely on your last award. You can't rely on your last show. You're only as good as what you're in at that moment. And I just don't want to settle for being mediocre. For me, and maybe I am mediocre. I don't know. I can't judge myself that way from another person's perspective. I guess if I want anybody to think about something about me, it's not that I want them to say I'm the greatest actor in the world, or the most talented, or the best artist. I would want people to say, man, he works his butt off, and he bites off a lot. And at least if he fails, God, he had the intestinal fortitude to do that. He's crazy. I would rather have that, and also that I'm good to work with.
Right.
That, oh well, he's not the greatest actor in the world, but boy, I love working with Derek, He doesn't take my light. That's important to me.
You're the best. Thanks for hanging out with me.
It was my pleasure. Can we do this again?
Anytime. You know how to reach me.
Okay, well, I'll choose another screwed up character to do in the future. And we'll do it.
What do you
Deal?
Deal.
Deal.
You got it. Maybe next time.
Hey, once
studio.
more,
Yes.
just want to rub it into everybody. I have the cup. So eat your heart out and die.
Sorry.
Rose red, violets, and blue. I've got a cup and you don't. Thanks for inviting me to the Richard Wilmore Show again.
Anytime. Anytime. Go see your show this weekend. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. I love my cup.
I love that cup. I love that. I love coffee mugs. So when I started my show, I was like, I have to have. I have t-shirts too.